Before the launch of the Xiaomi 15 Ultra, the Vivo X200 Pro was the best camera phone out there. The question is, can the Xiaomi 15 Ultra bring down the king of mobile photography? I am Mo, and today I'm not only going to test the photo and video quality of these phones, but also their battery life and performance. The Xiaomi 15 Ultra weighs 226 grams and has a bright 12-bit curved panel. On the back of the device, there are 4 cameras since the phone has 2 telephoto ones. The Vivo X200 Pro weighs almost the same as the Xiaomi. It also has a curved 12-bit panel, and on the back of the device, there are 3 cameras with Zeiss coating. Xiaomi is collaborating with Leica for color science, and the camera comes with Leica branding. There are 2 modes in the camera app, Leica Vibrant and Leica Authentic. The Vivo X200 Pro has 3 color modes, Zeiss Vivid, Textured and Natural. This picture was taken with Xiaomi's Leica Vibrance mode on the left side and Vivo's Zeiss Vivid mode on the right. The vibrancy on the Xiaomi is much stronger. I took the second picture using Leica Authentic and Zeiss Natural, and here the colors are much closer. Therefore, for the rest of the video, I'll stick to these 2 modes for comparison. Another point I want to address is the exposure level. As you can see in the picture, Xiaomi tends to overexpose by 1 stop. Theoretically, we can decrease the exposure. Here, I took the same shot but reduced the exposure by 1 stop. However, not only I was unable to retain the highlights, but the picture also became too dark. Therefore, for the sake of a fair comparison, I leave the auto settings and exposure level intact on both phones. Another thing is that not every single photo on Xiaomi is overexposed. For example, this shot was taken on auto settings and the Xiaomi shot is darker than the Vivo's. There are also situations like in this photo where both phones applied a similar level of exposure with shadows and highlights at comparable levels. But generally speaking, Xiaomi photos are brighter in most situations. If you need to, you can still decrease highlights in Lightroom like I did here and retrieve a lot of information from Xiaomi photos, but that requires additional work. Therefore, with Xiaomi, you are probably better off using an ND filter and adjusting Pro settings when taking photos to get the best results. So the Xiaomi 15 Ultra has also a camera photography kit, but I couldn't find one for Vivo X200 Pro. That put the Xiaomi 15 Ultra on an advantage because you can put ND filters on it, while on the Vivo X200 Pro, I had a hard time to find something proper. For example, I took this one using the Xiaomi 15 Ultra kit with an ND filter, and I found the picture super pleasing. However, for the rest of the video, I will remove the ND filter because it wouldn't be fair to use it on one phone and not the other. The Xiaomi 15 Ultra has a 14mm full-frame equivalent ultrawide lens, while the Vivo X200 Pro has a 50mm one. Both sensors are the same size, but the Vivo's is slightly faster, meaning it can capture more light. In reality, the quality is close. The Xiaomi picture appears a bit whiter, while the Vivo has a slight yellow tint. Also, as discussed, Xiaomi photos can sometimes be brighter than Vivo's. That means you usually get a more HDR looking picture on the Vivo compared to the Xiaomi. Now let's check the selfie camera and microphone on the Xiaomi 15 Ultra. Now I'm talking on the Xiaomi 15 Ultra. You are hearing me from the Xiaomi 15 Ultra on the left side, and now you are hearing me from the Vivo X200 Pro on the right side. Let me down in the comment section which one has a better microphone. It's quite loud out here. For the main lens, Xiaomi has a larger sensor compared to Vivo. So the main lens on the Xiaomi 15 Ultra is actually a 1-inch camera sensor, while on the Vivo X200 Pro it is not exactly 1 inch, it's a little bit smaller. That means that on the Xiaomi 15 Ultra you can get more light, and also the shallow depth of field is going to be there, while on the Vivo X200 Pro you have a bit of a harder time to get the same quality. Even though the 1-inch sensor is amazing, the reality is that computational photography will overshadow the actual physical difference between the 2 sensors. That means in most shots, both phones will produce similar quality. Even at night, the optical quality is very close, and the main difference lies in how each phone processes the image. For example, in this picture, Xiaomi's white balance has more green tones, while the Vivo's lens more towards purple. For the record, Vivo captured the scene closer to reality. In this case, the Xiaomi picture is more contrasty, while Vivo has some lifted shadows and appears less vibrant. One thing Xiaomi does better, especially at night, is managing multiple light sources and the reflections in the camera. There is less light leakage in the photo. Similar to the ultrawide lens, Vivo usually handles challenging lighting situations better, and highlights are less likely to be overblown. The same can be said about video to an extent. On the bright side, no pun intended, both phones manage flare very well. Also, Xiaomi's quality is slightly better at night, where the larger 1-inch sensor can kick in and do its job. One problem I personally have with the Vivo videos is that the processing is too contrasty for my taste, which ruins the magic and makes the footage look too digital. Fortunately, you can solve this issue by shooting in log. Here, I shot in log format with Vivo and then color graded the footage. The footage is a bit noisier, but I was able to color grade it however I wanted. Xiaomi footage on auto setting is less contrasty, but you can still see that the edges are sharper. You can also shoot in log with Xiaomi, but only in Pro mode. However, I didn't find it easy to color grade. I know I'm not a colorist, and there are people out there who can properly color grade Xiaomi footage, but in my amateur attempts, Vivo usually works better out of the box without any hassle. Sticking with the main lens, Xiaomi video often has subtle focus hunting when people pass by, whereas Vivo does a better job. Moving to the main telephoto lens, both ones have a similar sensor size, so it is not surprising that the quality they produce is on par with each other. For photos with the telephoto lens, the processing is very different. Xiaomi does a better job of separating the subject from the background, but it also tends to overblown highlights. Vivo's picture is more balanced, though the shadows on my face might be a bit too lifted. The same observation applies to the portrait shot. Xiaomi is a bit too contrasty, while Vivo is more balanced, with lifted shadows on my face. For other pictures I took, I also noticed that even in Leica Authentic mode, Xiaomi photos are more vibrant, whereas Vivo has more lifted shadows. These are both things that can easily be adjusted in Lightroom, but it's good to be aware of them. The one issue that is difficult to fix in Lightroom is overexposure in some Xiaomi shots like this one, where the highlights are overblown, making it hard to retrieve the details. Overall, both phones perform well with the telephoto lens. Xiaomi has 2 of them, but I personally try to avoid 3x telephoto lens altogether, as the 4.3 telephoto lens on Xiaomi is simply better and of a higher quality. I would rather see companies do what Vivo did and just include one large telephoto sensor in their phones. One of the uses of telephoto sensors is street photography. Vivo has a dedicated street photography mode. You can define different presets for street photography on Vivo and have them pre-installed. Generally speaking, the street photography mode is more artistic in a way, and I get some great shots with it. The tone and colors in Vivo's default street photography mode are more similar to how pictures look on a dedicated camera. The telephoto sensor on both phones can also be used to zoom into subject as much as you desire. For example, here I zoomed in 60 times on a subject. Vivo also had better processing in this picture compared to Xiaomi, making the image more usable. I had the same observation for night photography. The Vivo pictures taken with the telephoto lens had a slightly better processing and retained more details. The cherry on top was the Vivo also had more accurate white balance. For example, in this shot, the church had a whiter tone rather than a yellow tint. Nevertheless, it is insane how much these phones can zoom these days. This zoom range can also be used for wildlife photography, as both phones can still produce good-looking pictures even at 30x zoom. However, the way they process images at that zoom level is different. The Xiaomi 15 Ultra applies more smoothing, making the photo look softer and slightly blurry. On the other hand, the Vivo X200 Pro sharpens the image slightly, which creates better separation between the background and the subject. Also, you can use the telephoto lens to take macro shots. There is a bit of a difference between the two when it comes to processing the images. The Vivo is a bit more aggressive and the pictures are more processed, but they are also more social media sharing ready compared to Xiaomi. For video with telephoto lens, both phones can create a very nice looking bokeh effect, especially if you place the subject a bit further from the background. You don't even need to use cinematic mode. Even at 10x zoom, the video on both phones is detailed and sharp. I took this video before sunset when there wasn't even much light available outdoors. The Xiaomi 15 Ultra is running on Snapdragon 8 Elite, while the Vivo X200 Pro is running on Dimensity 9400. From my personal experience, neither of them has a meaningful advantage over the other in real life unless you want game simulation and other niche stuff. I ran the Geekbench and the result is for the Xiaomi 15 Ultra. It got a better score compared to Vivo. Then I ran the 3D Mark, which tests the graphics of the phones. This time, the Vivo got a better score with Dimensity compared to Xiaomi with the Snapdragon 8 Elite. For the battery life, the Vivo has a larger 6000 mAh battery, while the Xiaomi 15 Ultra is running on around 5400 mAh battery. I did a day in the life battery test with them, so pretty much everything you saw in this video, including photography, videography, and also playing YouTube and a bit of web browsing. And by the end of the day, Xiaomi had 46% battery left, while the Vivo X200 Pro had 60% battery left. It is clear Vivo has better battery life, and next to OnePlus, this year it holds the longest among flagship phones. To summarize the results, the Vivo X200 Pro shows more consistency when it comes to pictures, while the Xiaomi 15 Ultra is often overexposed. If that overexposure was consistent, we could solve it by decreasing the exposure level permanently. But sometimes the photos are overexposed and sometimes they are underexposed. The battery on Vivo X200 Pro is better. The performance is a tie, the display is a tie, and Xiaomi sometimes shows better results on the main lens due to the larger 1-inch sensor at night. Also, Xiaomi has a better mic and sound processing, and in my opinion, it is the best I've seen so far. Overall, my advice to you if you want to buy one of these two phones is to watch this video again carefully and see which color science you prefer and whether you are a Zeiss person or a Leica person. If you enjoyed this video, you can watch the comparison of Xiaomi 15 Ultra versus Galaxy S25 Ultra next. Thanks for tuning in to Tecmo, and I will see you in the next one.